Alright, so in this video we're going to talk about the browser, your sequence settings, and get some preferences set up and customized to work best with our video workflow. In the browser here we actually have two tabs. One's your project tab and the other's effects. In your effects you've got your video filters and video generators most importantly, but we'll come back to that later. Under your project, here's your sequence, and there's a lot of information about your sequence we can't see till we pull this out. And when we pull it out, we can see the aspect ratio and the codec and all this information. But to change it, we have to go to the sequence settings. So when I right-click it, underneath you can see settings. You can also get to this in the sequence menu under settings or by hitting Command 0. So here, this gives us all the information like your dimension and your frame rate and your codec and all sorts of stuff, as well as other tabs with more information. But these aren't the settings we want to use for our video workflow. So to set it up properly and forever, we can go here to the user preferences and go over here to render control. The first thing we want to do is uncheck frame blending for speed. Basically, by having this checked, we're allowing our computers to be lazy, and by unchecking it, we're forcing it to do all the right calculations for best render. And this is actually a super common amateur video editor mistake, so I would make sure that this is definitely unchecked. Over here, we're going to change this to best and best quality, just again, the same idea. And in timeline, we want to see the audio waveforms down here, so we check that. And under general, I'm going to turn off auto render, because the render files can get a little too big and I'd like to have a say about when that happens, and increase the rate at which we are saving automatically, and also for how many and how many per project. So I'm going to get that all set up. We're also, to change the presets, going over here to audio video settings, and this is the preset right now that you see up here, and we're going to make a new one. Under sequence presets, we can duplicate this first one, and I'm going to leave the dimensions the same, and actually also the frame rate, and we'll talk about that later. But I'm going to change the compressor, which is the sequence codec here, to 422. And you can use HQ or LT, but I like 422. I mean, it doesn't really, it's kind of up to you. So I'm also going to change the sample rate to 44.1 because most audio we're working with is going to be at 44.1. You don't want to upsample it. And we'll call this Coleman's preset. Okay, so now under summary, we can change the sequence preset to automatically always load Coleman's preset. Now, if I were to start a new document, when I go to it, it's automatically using all the presets we created and the preferences as well here. It's all set up, so this is great. I'm just going to make this window a little smaller and move on to the next lesson where we can talk about the canvas.